Hey everyone, Mike here today with some thoughts here on Slime Rancher. As you can see on the left side of the screen here, Slime Rancher 2 is coming out soon on September 22nd. I figured this was a good time to play through this game, give you some thoughts. Go ahead and load this game. I'm about 8-9 hours into this so far. I feel like I've got a pretty good understanding of everything to expect. And overall, it's pretty good. It's a pretty fun, neat idea. You know, it's on Steam, it's overwhelmingly positive for good reason. This is a super casual game. There's no like failures or anything like that. It's one of these games you just play to relax and get your mind off of whatever might be bothering you, or yeah, you just enjoy playing this. Cute little slimes that you're feeding and keeping happy. And that's pretty much all there is to it. There's a little bit of danger here and there, but it's a very non-issue in terms of hostile enemies and stuff, so... but anyways, with that said, I will just point out that you may notice some stutters in this recording. Fortunately, the CPU usage in this game is just a little bit higher than normal, and it's just high enough to throw off the encoder, so keep that in mind. The game runs really well. It doesn't have particularly high system requirements, but like I said, the CPU usage just slightly too high. So as you can see here, these guys are looking a little grumpy. Feed them, they'll be happy, and then poop out a pair of quartz. So those little gems are, you know, they're worth money. They're worth collecting for resources, so you can use them in various upgrades and equipment and things like that in the game. That's kind of how the game is structured and why you want to farm these various slimes. You'll see that these guys drop 2 different resources, which is kind of interesting. These basic pink guys only drop 1. So you might notice that, hey, both of these are pink, but that one looks like a cat, the tabby, and this one looks like a rock. Well, if we bring up our Slimepedia, we got rock slimes and tabby slimes that exist. And so there's a concept of necessarily breeding in this case. There's none of that in this game. But there's a concept of, if I have basic pink slimes and I feed them, you know, the plort, the little gem from a different kind of slime, the slimes will inherit all of those attributes from whatever plort it consumes. So that's kind of cool if you want to combine, you know, 2 different kinds of slimes together. The cool part about that is you can say, hey, I've got a slime here that requires meat and is a little bit tough to feed because I've got a bunch of chickens now, but it'll take a while to get to that point. And so to make my life easier, I can combine them with a different kind of slime that maybe only takes fruits or vegetables, which I can grow a little bit easier, which is kind of what we have here. Got some of these some of these guys prefer, you know, normally they want meat, but because I fed a different kind of slime, they're okay with meat and fruit. I'll feed them cube berries, which is their favorite fruits. These guys, I don't have a favorite fruit, or at least I don't know off the top of my head what they like, so I'll just give them pogo fruit. And then some other guys. Throw some veggies in there. And keep these guys happy as well. A bunch of fruits and veggies. So this is kind of your daily routine, if you will. Now, like I said, this game doesn't have any potential failure states or anything like that. So if you don't feed them, you know, they'll get agitated like these guys are. Right? They'll jump around a bunch. They'll try and break out their enclosure. And they generally are heading towards the closest food source they can find. And so as soon as I start feeding them, see that most of them will start calming down. They were not going to jump as much. They're not necessarily going to be trying to head to the closest food source that they can see. The reason they're looking at these guys, there's probably some gems on the ground. Actually, I'm not seeing any. Yeah, some of the gems, a slime can eat a different slime's kind of gem. So if I let one of these guys eat one of these crystal quartz, I'd have some sort of crystal rad slime combo, which would be pretty cool. And actually, I could probably show that off. Leave one, get one out. There you go. Got a rad crystal largo. So, yeah. I could basically combine those two enclosures if I wanted. But since I don't really want him just yet, we'll let him have some fun in the free outdoors and let him... Anyways. I think that's about it. That's kind of the... most of the base aspects of this game. We've got more different kinds of slime here. Gonna fill up their feeder. As you can see, they don't really need a whole lot of food. They're already overloading. I'll take these spare mangoes and throw them into other enclosures. We've got some water type slimes, so they don't really do a whole lot. And all sorts of different equipment and stuff that we can buy. Once you start getting later into the game, instead of selling the parts for the new coins there on the bottom corner, you can start using them to build different extract abilities. And so as you get later and later into the game, that's kind of the natural progression, if you will. That's what you'll be doing. So, yeah, in that aspect, I'm kind of entering into that late game scenario, making more use of those things. Now, not really entered into that. Anyways, I've got a lot of pink guys. I'll give them a nice little helping of food. Build the enclosure, then we're good to go. Now, obviously, I've got a bunch of quartz here. I should empty some of them out. Anything that doesn't get picked up will disappear after 24 hours in game time. So, you know, yeah, you lose a bit of money, but as you can see, these are the cheapest. So anyways, beyond your basic farming, there are a couple other things. You can engage into trading with other ranchers. So if I want... Oh, these golden fruits, I've never seen them before. I need to supply these plorts. No, I don't... Is that the honey one? I think that's the honey one. Yeah, that's the honey one. Alright, let's do that. I've never seen those golden fruits, so... 1 honey, 6 pink, and... Pink ones are easy. 1 honey and 2. Okay. Go ahead and do a quick loop. So occasionally, yeah, you can get new stuff by doing trades and working with other ranchers, which is pretty cool. You can also go to other ranches. There's little side mission stuff that is not available on the kind of the main map necessarily. If I bring up the map, yeah, you see me run in kind of this lower area. This also is part of my ranch. Everything else is kind of wilderness. There's still a couple areas where I've not explored yet, which is pretty cool. So I'll probably get into that at some point. For now, yeah. For now, I've not explored those areas. Grab some phosphors. Again, we'll empty out some ashes here a little bit. And then maybe we'll build an enclosure and make another hybrid of sorts. And then we'll go get the honey one. But yeah, the exploration aspect of the game, there's not a whole lot there. You know, it's fairly straightforward. You just run around in the environment. You find some slimes you like, you can capture them, and then bring them back to your base. And put them in enclosures, feed them, keep them happy. So it gives you a nice way to farm some resources. All that fun stuff. That's kind of what we're doing here, just keeping these guys happy for now. And allows me to do some of these trades. Allows me to build some of the upgrades much easier. Some of these plorts can be hard to find in the environment, especially if you have to run pretty far. Oh no, I do have these fruits actually. Okay. It's just in the pictures they look more gold than what I'm used to seeing. But anyways, we'll ditch these. Ditch these, and then I'll do a little bit of exploration, and I think that's about. I don't really have too much else to show. The biggest, not really complaint, but you know, if I had a suggestion or something I would look forward to with a potential sequel, which is coming out next week. To be fair, I'll point out, I've not actually looked at anything Slime Rancher 2 out, so I have no idea what to expect out of that game. But if I were looking for a sequel for this game, I think the biggest thing for me would be just a little bit more, something, you know, an extra mechanic or something. Because like I said, there's not a whole lot going on. What you're seeing so far is kind of the majority of the game. I wish there's a little bit more to it, whether it be more in-depth automation or like maybe more of a tycoon style game where you're keeping more track of happiness and other stuff like that. Like, I don't know. Yeah, this is very simple, right? There's no failure or nothing like that. If I had a little bit more of something, I'd probably be a little bit happier, and I'd probably stick with this game a bit longer. But yeah, for what it's doing, it's still good. And yeah, if people want to give it a go, I would recommend it. Yeah, I'm just gonna sleep till the morning, just because it's a bit nicer to look at the world during the daytime than nighttime. And we'll make our way all the way to the top there. It shouldn't take too long, and then we'll be able to talk about exploration and how the world works. So, you know, when you first start off, this is kind of what you're greeted with, these pink slimes. These phosphor guys are, yeah, they're just hanging around from the nighttime. But anyways, they're eating various fruits and vegetables scattered around, which is why they're all running here for these carrots. There's chickens that spawn from here sometimes as well. This is where you you discover the rock slimes, and then you start seeing some of the hybrid combinations where the pink slime just ate a rock, and so he's become a pink rock lark. Largo is just to tell you that they're a large slime, and so if they eat another plort that's not one of the two kinds of plorts, then they become R, which is like a bad corrupted slime. Which is why I have a water cannon to deal with them. You can also run away from them very easily. You can actually pick them up, launch them out of out of the area you're in. So that's also a third option. But anyways, I'm kind of limited in terms of how much more I can progress because I require a key. So the slime we're going to go find here wants some fruit. Feed him a couple more fruit. We'll get a key that'll allow him to progress further to the final area of the map. Yeah, with all that said and done, it's a pretty cool game. I don't really have too much else to add to it, I think. Yeah, if you're into this, you're gonna like it. If you're not interested with what you've seen, that's fine too, right? This is highly received on Steam. This is the kind of really casual game that people like. Well, we should be close. There we go. Hey! And actually, we'll grab all of those honey slimes, because we'll bring them back to the base. Nothing in here is new, so I don't have to grab any of that. So let's just open up that doorway, shall we? If I can make my way out, of course. So that's kind of how your progression is gated. There are various, bigger slimes like that scattered throughout the map. They'll require a decent amount of feeding. Once you feed them enough of whatever they're looking for, they'll give you a key. And then that key will allow you to progress into other areas of the map. So it's probably going to be... Oh, this is different. How about that? I was going to say, there's probably going to be different kinds of slimes here. But maybe not. This seems... okay, I see what it is. I need to feed it one kind of each gem before I can progress. Not sure what this I want. Thankfully, you have a Limepedia with all the different resources. Maybe it's just a diamond as opposed to a... But you can see, don't have everything yet. Actually... Oh yeah, the quick slip. No, that's a side mission thing. The game does have a couple side missions that are like a little bit different than the norm. That is a thing in it. Necessarily explore that. Oh, cool. Okay, so they are. Oh, it's the firefly looking one. Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna show this off for fear of spoilers. We are approaching 20 minutes. So, yeah, I don't have too much more to do, I suppose, at this point. The thing is, I'm already at that point in time. So, anyways, I think we'll end this here. If you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you guys next week with some other video games.